What's up, everybody? It's Jeremy from Budget Dad Barbecue and Brewing. It is Friday afternoon. We've got a little bit of sunset left. Let's do a chicken on the barbecue, shall we? Okay, so I'm going to do a lot of trimming, and I'm going to show you kind of just my standard method. A lot of what I do comes from Harry Soo from Slap Yo Daddy BBQ, so credit and shout out to Harry Soo. He is the master, and I can't tell you how many countless hours I've watched of his videos. So if you ever watch this, I would be totally ecstatic, and thank you to Harry Soo. So let's get into this. All right, first things first, I've got my chicken. I went ahead and took out my parts. I'm not gonna cook a stock today, so I'm not gonna use the neck bone or the giblets or anything like that, but I do like to save the heart, and I like to save the liver, to maybe perhaps have this with a little wine or a little fava beans with a nice bottle of Chianti. So let's get rid of this fat, shall we? This is nasty stuff right here. This right here, my friends, is going to be your best friend. I don't really use knives a whole lot when I'm doing trimming. I use kitchen shears. A nice set of sharp kitchen shears. Much more, I feel safer. Okay, that's what it comes down to. I'm not going to hurt myself, or at least I have a less chance of hurting myself. So let's cut this stuff off. I like to have a little tin nearby. If you notice, I have parchment paper. I'm also a huge fan of parchment paper. I just like laying it down, especially if I'm going to be dealing with meat and blood and anything like that. Okay, so first things first, as I said, let's just cut off these bits. This might be a little extensive than what most people really want to get into. That's fine. You don't have to do this, but I'm telling you, once you do and you get rid of these gobs of fat, you will be so pleased. I think the skin tastes better. I personally don't like nasty gristle and fat in my food. And so I think it's worth the time. I definitely think it's worth the time. So this sort of stuff. You want this in your mouth? I don't. So let's go ahead and cut that out. So in the interest of time, I'm gonna go ahead and ask my wife, Danya, to keep filming, but I'm just going to speed through this. Now that I've got the sort of fat here, that gristle towards the end of the behind, I go ahead and turn it around and spatchcock it. I think it's the easiest thing to do. It cooks nicer. I think it's a prettier product. Let's go for it. Turn it around. Get your kitchen shears again. Ta-da! We're done with that. Okay, now as you can see, I've got even more of this fat, gobs of fat and skin. So I'm gonna trim around here. Okay. All right, let's clean this up. Now what we're gonna do is we're going to put a little pressure on this chicken. Use my two hands. We're not doing CPR, my friends, but kind of feels like it. 1, 2, 3. Good. Pop that bone. You hear that? All right. Now let's start to peel back the skin. Do some more trimming. One thing to note, the paper towel is your best friend. If you're gonna look inside here, you're gonna see these gobs of fat that are really hard, and you don't want to necessarily cut off more skin. So use a paper towel. It gives you good grip. There you go. Oh yeah. That's kind of satisfying, It's like all that, that's a health hazard, I don't want to eat that. You got to be careful when you're getting towards, so you could actually, if you peel back this skin, you could start to see these pockets of fat. And, don't work too hard on this. If you see the obvious globs, go ahead and trim them off. Sometimes I like to shave these down a little bit. but I have done this before and I end up poking holes in the skin. So I just do your best. This doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. Now that we have the chicken done, I'm going to show you what it looks like. So it's not perfect, and clearly when you do this, sometimes you risk damaging some of the skin. I'll show you how I solve that. But anyhow, what we did is we loosened up this skin underneath, try to do our best to try to find the big pockets of skin, or I'm sorry, the big pockets of fat, and remove those. We couldn't get all of it, but don't kill yourself all over it. But for the most part, we were able to get the big gobs of fat, and we trimmed towards the end. Again, there's still some fat in there, but we got the most of the excess. How we solved the issue of the broken skin and the fear that it's just all going to pull back into one clump is we use Moo Glue. Right here, Moo Glue, meat glue for the modern cook. This is transglutamase formula. You can get this on Amazon. It's not terribly expensive. Again, this was one of Harry Soo's black belt tips that he gave, and I use this almost every single time. I don't use much. I'll show you what I do. I use a little sprinkle that I have here. I take it out of the packet. I sprinkle a bit on the table, and from there, I go ahead and put it lightly underneath the skin. What this does is, as it cooks, it helps the skin to adhere to the meat. So I just do that. And you'll see that in the finished product, because a lot of people go, well, geez, you've loosened this all up, it's going to peel back. And it's actually not too bad when you use the Moo Glue. So we have the Moo Glue underneath the skin. I'm not going to inject. I have before. It's tasty. It's nice. It's a huge pain. I have to have a huge ton of cleanup to do, and scrubbing those things out with pipe cleaners. If I have guests over, which I haven't for like a year because it's COVID, then I might do it, but I'm not going to do it right now. I'll tell you what I do use. I start with a base of plain old Dijon mustard. If you want to get fancy and get Grey Poupon, go ahead. But I don't. I get the generic. So put this on. I like to use Dijon mustard lately. I started with that yellow mustard. It's great. It's got a ton of acid on it. And I know a lot of people say it doesn't really matter what you use, just use a base. But I think the Grey Poupon actually has got that nice, it's got a little bit more savoriness to it. I just think it makes me feel fancier, Next up, I use Tamari sauce. If you want to use soy sauce, that's fine too. But Tamari is at our local grocery store. It's about the same price. It's not as salty. And I like to put this on the chicken because it gives it a good dark color, and also it just adds umami. So how's it gonna hurt? Okay, so the Tamari sauce is on. Last thing is a little rub. If you have your favorite rub, go for it. If you make your own rub, even better. It's probably more cost effective. I've used tons of rubs. I've used $20 rubs. I've used $10 rubs. Yeah, clearly, sometimes I like a really nice glass of wine, and other times I'm fine with a glass of Turning Leaf or Sutter Home. So for this sort of Friday evening dinner for the family, I'm going to use the good old McCormick Grill Mates. I think this is, $6, something like that at the grocery store. It's cheap. I've tried the other Grill Mates. They're good, but the standard barbecue rub is solid, and I have yet to be disappointed with this. So And I don't think there's any MSG or anything in here. And if there is, that's okay too. We're gonna give it a nice solid coating. Let's get it under her wing, shall we? There we go. All right, so we are all seasoned up now. I'm gonna let this chicken rest while I fire up the Kamado. I'm gonna get the Kamado to about 275. That's gonna take, I assume, 20, 30 minutes to the point where I feel comfortable where it's dialed in. And then we're gonna put it on. So we'll be back. Hey everyone, we're back. It's been about 20, 30 minutes. The Kamado's hovering around 275, 280, so we got it dialed in. Let's go ahead and get this chicken on. Woo, it is windy today. Let's get it nice and center in that breast. Looks good. I'm gonna try not to disturb it too much, but I'll come back in around half an hour. By that time, the skin should be tightening up a little bit, and I might baste it with a little butter spray. So we'll be back then. Okay, everybody, let's go ahead and check this out. It's been around 30 minutes. Oh yeah, that's good. Give a little spray. Yep, that's perfect. Internal temp so far is at 133, so we've got a little bit longer to go. I might take that liver and that heart off pretty soon. Okay, we are back. It has been around an hour and a half, hour and 45. Last I checked the chicken, it was around 155 degrees. So it's time to go ahead and put some barbecue sauce on it, and then we're gonna let it go to around 175 degrees. Some people might say that's too much. Some people stop at 165 because that's considered safe temperatures. I like to let mine go a little bit longer, and trust me, this is not gonna be a dry chicken. You're gonna see in the end, and I think you'll be pleased. Or I'll be pleased because I'll be eating it. Come on. When I was getting the barbecue set up in the Kamado, I went ahead and used applewood chips because number one, it's easily accessible, it's pretty cheap. I haven't tried peach yet, but I heard that's really good. Fruit woods are good on chicken, on poultry, but applewood is fine. And what I usually do is when I'm putting the charcoal in, I go ahead and put chips around the edges so that as things start to get really hot, they'll start to smolder and that initial smoke will come up through the chicken. Let's go. Smells delicious. Oh, honey. Yes. That is really nice. Now, see how I put that moo glue on? And remember, we even had that little boo-boo right there. It hasn't moved a bit. And that's the moo glue. If I hadn't put that on there before, this entire thing would have tightened up, and this probably would have went all the way up here to the halfway mark. So I'm happy it did its job. Let's pour on some sauce. I would suggest using your own sauce. I like to sometimes, but right now, again, I've worked all day. It's Friday. And if you're gonna make any investment, you know me, I'm pretty tight. But one thing that I don't like to go cheap on if I am gonna use sauce is a decent barbecue sauce. This is a local sauce. We're up in here in Pacific Northwest. I think this is Washington. It's called Barbecue Pete's Wood Pit Barbecue. Pile-up fair barbecue sauce. I have no idea how to say that, but anyhow, it's solid. It's a real solid barbecue sauce. Do a little dab. Beautiful. Okay, 155. We're gonna take this to 175. I'm gonna go ahead and close the lid so it doesn't get too cool, and we'll be back. Okay, everybody, it has been around 2 hours, 2 hours and 10 minutes. We are at 175, 180 degrees. That is plenty. Let's go ahead and put this on the cutting board. I'll cover it with foil. We're gonna let it rest for about 20 minutes. Let's do this. I do 3, it's fine. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Yes. All right, so right now, shut that lid. Shut her down with tin foil. People still say tin foil. Or is that an old timey? Too old timey. I'm aging myself with people. All right. So I'm just gonna do a little nip and tuck. Let's go back inside. We're gonna let her rest for about 20 minutes. Some people say 15, some people say 30, some people say 45, some people say 1 hour. You know what 1 hour resting time means? A cold chicken. So I think 20 is a nice middle spot. So about 20 minutes, we'll come back. And ladies and gentlemen, through the miracle of modern television, 20 minutes has passed. The chicken has rested. It's time to cut into it. Oh my word. Oh my gosh. That looks really good. Das juices are running clear. It's a good sign. Okay, let's cut into it. Oh, falling apart at the... Look at this. Oh, it smells sweet. It smells barbecuey. It smells smoky. I barely even had to touch this with the knife, and it just falls right off the bone. My wife Danya hates that saying. Why do you hate that? It falls right off the bone. I don't know. I mean, beautiful. Let's cut the breast. And again, look at that skin with that moo glue. That was beautiful. And everything here, there's no blood. It's just nice. I took it to 175. It smells, guys, I can't tell you how beautiful this smells. I mean, it just smells like heaven. If heaven had a smell. I don't know. Okay. All right, we'll pull this apart. And if you look at my older videos, we do just, chicken breasts. And so this is right off the chicken. But look at this. I mean, that is just, tell me if is that dry at 175? That is so nice. And we're going to cut into it. Oh. It's hot. So that's actually pain when you hear me kind of going, ooh. It's mostly pain. All right, you ready for this? I mean, look at the juices in here. Okay. This is super hot. I'm going to give a first piece to my wife.
Oh my gosh, that's delicious.
Is it good?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll try it. With the skin on. This reminds me, when the first time I cooked a chicken like this, again, I watched some of Harry Soo's competition videos. So again, I want to give full credit to a lot of the methods that I've been using to Harry Soo at Slap Yo Daddy BBQ. But I tried this, and I'll never forget, it was like the first amazing chicken we've ever made, and I think the Kamado has a lot to do with that as well, because it retains the moisture, and you don't really necessarily have to fear it drying out unless you cook the heck out of it. But even at 175 degrees, this is absolutely amazing. Let's try a little bit of dark meat. I mean, beautiful, right? I'm gonna show my age and do the cabbage patch. That's good. All right, I think we're done here. So if you learned anything, if you like this, please like, subscribe. If not, that's okay. I'm not gonna judge you. We'll see you next time. Here we are at the dinner table. And to give you an honest review, I have called upon my two boys, Eli and Carter. And
I'm Eli, he's Carter.
So I need some honesty here. We cannot lie to the YouTube community. So what do you guys think? What do you think of the chicken? I know what you think of the...
I know the breast. It's very, very tender, very juicy, and it does go very well with barbecue sauce, obviously.
Oh, I'm kind of insulted, but that's okay. Yeah, totally. Barbecue sauce goes
Wait,
with it.
why are you insulted?
It's like,
you know I know what insulted means.
Yeah, that's true. No, you're right. I'm kidding. Some people get really insulted when you put things on top of their dishes like
Condiments.
salt or condiments, yes. But you're right. It does go solid with some good barbecue sauce. Cool. Carter?
Wait, I also forgot it does have a little salty aftertaste, and I like it.
A little bit of a salty.
Yeah, it's like the aftertaste has a little bit of a salty smokiness.
And I didn't even inject it too, so it just goes to show injection's not always needed.
It's very easy to digest.
Very easy to digest.
You need to swallow.
Digestive, if you will. Okay, Mr. Palmer.
It probably means it's not dry.
Mr.
No,
Palmer,
it's not dry. It's not dry at all.
Mr. Palmer, what are your thoughts on this? Don't bite my finger off. Okay. All right, well, would you like another? So since Mr. Palmer can't speak, I'm thinking he's looking at my fingers, and that tells me that he approves, and he would have another piece if I'd give it to him. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for your honest reviews, you guys. Take care, you two. Talk to you soon.